Welcome to part 2 of the Bridges presentation. I'm Mary Yong, and I work with Catherine in Bridges, providing autistic children with access to a social understanding curriculum. Thank you again to Scottish Autism for enabling us to share more about our experience and highlight some strategies that you may find helpful or you may already be doing as you partner your child in their social learning. From our previous presentation, you may remember we talked about the autistic child's perspective, that social understanding is a complex skill. We had the privilege of working with Ian, a little professor who was at his happiest reading encyclopedias. After a year of social learning with us, he made this profound comment: the person who invented friendship must have been a genius. What he said made us aware of how complicated social interaction really is. We've highlighted that the autistic children we partnered responded well to a shared learning process that's proactive rather than responsive, sequential and connected, so it enables them to see the big picture and allows long-term learning. A systematic curriculum where the learning is logical and the social understanding builds and connects. The invaluable input of the children and their parents showed us where the gaps were in what they needed to understand to feel more confident. They were the ones that brought new perspectives that stretched our capacity to break down concepts and address questions and issues that they had. Providing more time to cover learning became essential, so that, for example, 4 weeks of conversation became 14 weeks of learning. Another important thing they taught us is to allow them breaks in the learning, to consolidate and generalize the depth and breadth of social understanding covered, so the learning is paced for them. In the unique words of an 8-year-old we know, we can take time to learn, cool our minds, we love that, do what we need to do. In the recent independent evaluation of Bridges, the children we partnered, who are now young adults, also affirmed that time and space to self-reflect was important for them, so they could make their own informed choices in social encounters, rather than being moved along by us and by our agenda and by our time schedules. Much of what I'll be sharing today is influenced by the children, recognizing the way they think and learn. The children were active participants in the learning process, which we believe increased their awareness and made them more motivated. Through our partnering the children and their parents, there were 8 strategies that we found worked in developing social understanding, which addressed questions for them like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to remember? What does the skill look like? How do I try this out? Very important. What's in it for me? How do I feel? What do I think? How do other people think and feel? What's the situation? In addressing the first question, what do I need to learn? The children responded well to social information, because it gives them understanding of what's going on in a situation and why, and enables them to understand how social interaction works. So, for example, when your child is upset about a disagreement, you could give them social information when you explain to them, people have different thoughts. They can say what they think without being right or wrong. No one thinks the same about everything, so sometimes people may disagree, and that's okay. We found it helpful for the children to check and review previous learning as we went along. Asking questions is a good way to clarify that concepts have been understood, and it encourages critical thinking of what's been learned. When the children answer questions, they get to explain the concepts in their own words, which helps them remember. We also found the children themselves enjoy asking their own questions and talking about what's been happening for them. Videos. Videos are a valuable resource, as most autistic children respond well to visual learning. I mean, who doesn't like videos? But videos watched together can be paused, replayed, helping the children see and think about people and situations. Together, as you watch a video, you can talk about things like what's happening in the situation, how does the person feel, how do you know that? One young person explained that videos showed him exactly what a situation looked like. We found role play is an important part of showing children how concepts and skills might look like in practice. This can be done individually with you as a parent or in a small group. The children we partnered often shared real-life scenarios that had happened for them. They not only wanted to talk about the situations, but also walk through them in role play. So role play enabled them to explore options of what they could choose to do differently next time, and also to see the consequences of those choices within a supportive environment. So for example, one of the girls we partnered shared what had happened to her at school and asked to role play how she might respond. She had lent a pencil to a classmate, and when she asked for her pencil back, he told her it would cost her 10 pence. She dutifully paid, but later decided she wanted to get her 10 pence back. Role play was her way of walking through that situation, building her confidence to stand up for herself, regardless of the outcome. In the end, she did get her money back and felt really good about it. The children's buy-in was another key factor to their motivation. Talking about what's in it for them was important. So bringing up things like, knowing how to get along makes you feel good about yourself, or doing something just because you know you can builds your confidence. I mean, let's face it, we're all motivated by what's in it for me. As parents, though, the challenge will be finding the buy-in that connects with your child. You know your child best and what's important for them to want to make a positive change. We learned from the parents that buy-in was often a trial and error process. But when the children did buy in, they were more willing to make changes. Self-awareness is something we all need for understanding ourselves and provides us with the confidence to relate to others. The children we partner are no different. It was useful for them to think about questions like, what did I do or say? How did I feel about it? What do I think? What do I want to do differently? Through consistent self-reflection, we observed that across the long term, the children became less reliant on adult support and more confident in knowing about themselves. Self-awareness leads to awareness of others or perspective taking. Being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes is something we all need in order to get along. The children learned best through situations that had happened for them. Together, it was useful to talk about and reflect on questions like, how did the other person feel in that situation? What did they think? How might they treat me? How would I feel. In discussing about thoughts and feelings, we found it useful often to have a vocabulary menu to refer to that helps the children with a variety of emotion and thought words. It's helpful to give your child perspective in situations real to them on how someone else might feel, what that person thinks, and how it might come back to affect them. For example, when you played what your friend wanted, he felt happy and you looked likable. Great, he's inviting you to go cycling. Peter Vermeulen's concept of context awareness was something the children benefited from in exploring and understanding, knowing that what people do or say may be different depending on the context, who's around, what's happening in the situation is important. The children found this helpful in understanding why their classmates would do or say something in certain situations that they wouldn't in others. Talking about context helped clear up misunderstandings as the children tried to figure out what they saw as inconsistencies in their peers' behaviors. For example, thinking about why a classmate ends the talking in the basketball court with "gotta go, see ya" when their dad arrives to take them home, but then is seemingly rude in stopping talking abruptly when the teacher arrives to start the lesson. Context. The 8 strategies we've talked about very, very quickly recognize the way autistic children think and learn. And they are the 8 strategies that provide the scaffold underpinning the Bridges Social Understanding curriculum. As mentioned in the previous presentation, this curriculum has come out of partnership with autistic children and their parents. It is indeed the curriculum they gave us. In closing, I would like to read a quote from Professor Richard Mills. Enabling autistic children to understand their own and unique way of learning enabling autistic learners to understand their own and unique way of thinking and learning should underpin social learning. Given the support to understand at the critical time context and the skills to exercise self-determination, the autistic learner will cope with life's challenges on a similar basis to neurotypical individuals. Thank you for listening. We really do hope that you found the content across our 2 presentations helpful.